So, first of all, we are starting with a square canvas on Photoshop, and our aim is to create an abstract collage of the context that we're going to work on. And in this case, it's Şirinevler, which is a district in Istanbul. So I got some pictures out of Google Maps. So here you can see the intensive urban texture of this area, and there are some maybe distinctive patterns that I like to zoom in. And here you can find the airport, which is close to this area actually, the old airport of Istanbul. So maybe we can start by having some maybe cuts out of this urban textures. So maybe in order to explain the character of this really intensive urban texture, we can have a part which is this part. So let's cut it using the lasso tool. After using the lasso tool, maybe we want to cut these parts. And just copy it into our canvas. If we have 3D views of this area, like drone pictures or whatsoever, it would be great, but I don't have right now. That's why maybe we will work only with this Google Images. And after this, maybe we want to have also the network of the roads here. So for this, I got a good network or a good map from Snazzy Maps. So here it will save us a lot of work. So instead of having them maybe in the black color, we can change the color, but first of all let's select them by the magic wand tool. We press on one of the black things and copy. After this, paste. And if we want, we can have all of them. If we want, we can have part of them. We will decide this later, but for now I will just leave them the way they are. And we are done with this. We can also have some features of the site, like for instance this airport or this green area, the huge green area that we have. So we will just maybe cut it down also with the lasso tool. And because this area is actually kind of 2D, that's why we can play with the perspective. So let's grab it on the top, and the area is somewhere here. We can press Ctrl T to play with the perspective and press Ctrl with the mouse and try maybe to adjust this area. Yes, and here you go. Can play a little bit with like this. Okay. And after this, we may play with the objects, so we can have this tree and put it here as well. So we select this tree, copy it and put it here. So it doesn't have a really transparent background, so how are we going to clean this? For the magic wand tool, we press here, right click and similar, and then delete. Now we have it all clean. So we can put it here somewhere on the top as well and make it a little bit smaller, or much smaller. Yes, and we want to play with these colors so that it can match these colors. So we press Ctrl U and maybe play with the lightness a little bit and also the hue somehow. Let's see. Okay, and the saturation. And here you go. Okay. After this, we want to cut maybe these streets so that it becomes meaningful, or at least it becomes visually appealing. So instead of having them in this square pattern, we can select only the streets that we want to have. So my work area is actually this area, and this highway is a really strong element of my project, so I will keep it, but I will cut the ones under it. All of them. Like this. Before pressing delete, I have to be on the layer of the roads. So now I deleted them. Here, same as well. Yes. Okay. And maybe also we want to delete some of these ones, which are not in my area actually. So I will just press here and here maybe. And from here on, let's delete everything. And delete. Yes. And maybe also we can delete some of the parts that are not also in my real area, such as maybe this part a little bit. Let's play with these curves so that it looks beautiful. So instead of just cutting with the square pattern, we will a little bit take the curves of this street. So what we're doing now actually is, as I said in the beginning, abstract kind of collage, which shows some characteristics of this area that I'm working in. That's why it shouldn't be like 100% realistic or showing the real thing of the area. Instead, it shows the main character maybe. So in order to do this, we can also keep the strong roads in another color and make the other ones, the secondary ones, faded somehow. So in order to do this, let's select these strong ones and see what we're going to do with them. So let me roads, and this one is the Google Maps one. This one is the garden maybe, and this one is a tree. We came here again with the lasso tool. Let's start cutting. So after this, we got the main roads already. I want to color this maybe in a different color than the black, so that it becomes distinctive somehow. So I'm going to choose maybe a red color, but let's choose this kind of red maybe, or a little bit, or maybe orangey red. Yes. So we have this here, and we can even rotate it somehow to make it look more aesthetic. So what I want to show guys is the urban tissue with its all like busy roads and so on. So we can actually maybe do this way, like this, and we can play also with the color of the roads. So let's make it faded and maybe with a gray like this. Yeah. After this, let's put these things back. So this one is here, maybe, and this one is somewhere, actually everywhere. And let's also put the other elements. So we have the airport, which is somewhere in this area. It's not really close, but we want to show that there is somehow connection. So with the quick selection tool, we can select all this area. So let's also choose maybe this area as well. And yes, and that's all. We can extract this area from that selection and copy. After this, paste. It would be somewhere here somehow. So like this. And after all, let's increase the other elements, the strong ones, like the sea, for example. So we have here the sea, we have a really beautiful pattern that we want to use maybe in the sea here. So I'm choosing this pattern somehow, but let me remove a bit. Yes, okay. We copy it. Let's close this one, we are done with it. And we paste. And let's make it smaller, but let's make it somewhere here. Yes, and let's make it down than the airport, exactly. And maybe we can even rotate it a little bit. And let's also try not to make like really strong end, like straight line. So we can end it like this. Yes. And with these lines we can just clean it quickly by going this way. Okay, now what else do we want to have? Maybe we want to add the historical character of this site. So I have a historical map like this, but maybe I don't want to make it really in black and white. I want to show this green areas. So I will try something. I will try to colorize it using the neutral filters on Photoshop. So filter and then neutral filters. And then we will see the colorize here. So let's see. And we have beautiful result in 1 second. Yes, and now let's have this part of the agriculture areas, which was the history of this area actually, maybe 60 years ago or something. And let's copy a part of it and let's just put it there. And here we go, copy. Let's close this one and paste. And here we go. Okay, what else? If we want, we can show also some other patterns of this texture here around, or we can also show some other cool networks, for example like this one, as a background or something, if we want, like really faded background, somehow, like I'm going to show now. Let's drag it down above the background only. And after this, we will just reduce the opacity. We'll really reduce it. Like this. And let's even, with the magic wand tool, let's clean the background of this, so that we have only the lines. But of course, after restoring the layer, and now we have a cool background. Okay, maybe if we want as well, we can add some road networks from Google Maps beside this red one. so we can have it itself like a realistic one. So maybe we can choose this by doing the quick selection tool as well. Somebody would tell me like this is not really accurate, and I know this, but it will give somehow cool effect. So let's just try. So copying it and putting it here. Like this. And after doing all of this, we want to add our texture on the background. So as you will see in the attachments of the textures, let's choose one of them. Maybe we can choose this one, let's say, and let's drop it here. So we are dropping it here, and it's already, let's take it down to the background, above the background. And some people would like it like this actually, but for me I would actually make it clearer, so I will make it lighter somehow. How I'm going to do this? Let's start trying. So I can try the invert, Control I. So by pressing the invert, Control I, or just image adjustments and invert, we got a whitish background with some textures, of course. So we can also play with the color of this by new layer, and let's just paint it with some color. Let's say a creamy beige color. So somewhere around here. And let's change the blending mode. And after this, let's also reduce the opacity of the texture. And here we have a cool result. But what else can we do actually to make this even look better and better than this? We can play with the harmony of the colors themselves. So for instance, we can come to the most up layer here and apply the Nick collection. If you have the Nick collection, you are going to make it easier for yourself. If you don't have it, look up for it. There is a free version of Nick collection that you can download and enjoy. And if you don't have it even, you can apply the camera raw filter. Of course, I will be adding a lot of filters for the camera raw, which you can also try and find your favorite. Now let's have the Nick collection. In other lessons, we will work with the camera raw filter. So I will see the analog. So in the analog filter, it gives this old look of the picture. So it added some textures and so on. But here it added just to the up layer, to the one on the top. So if you don't want to do this, you can just mix all of them together to merge them, I mean. And after merging them, you can just do the analog. So here it became a little bit creamy, more than the one I have shown, but I'm fine with it. It looks also nice. And after this, let's do the Nick collection. If we didn't want to do this, we could have merged it in another way, but we will see this in some other lessons. So here we are waiting for the analog filter to apply its beautiful effect. So here you can find a lot of cool effects, but we can also play with the settings of them so that we get the best result that we want. So first of all, you can have a look of the whole effects. And if you don't like the result, also you can play with the opacity itself, so it looks, it looks different somehow than the first, as you can see here. And that's it. We showed the general character of this area. This kind of collage was inspired by one of the works of Tatiana Bilbao. So I hope you liked the result, and I'll be excited to see your works as well, and see you in our next lesson.